What's up, everybody? Get your popcorn ready. We're up here tonight at Worth Stadium Club at 6900 West 111th Worth Stadium Club in Worth, Illinois. Come on down and get in the game, friends. Tickets are just $25 at the door and include a food buffet made for William the Refrigerator Perry. And it also includes 2 drinks, games, prizes, and much more. We're getting ready to go over some trivia here in a little bit. And the first ones will be, when you win these, you'll get some slot play. So that'll be pretty cool. So we're really excited to have you guys. We're really excited to have everybody in the building. This is supposed to be a really exclusive special Super Bowl 58. From what we gather, the tracker for Taylor is she's going to make it. So it's not even going to be a photo finish. I guess Japan actually said they're going to go ahead and let her out a little bit early. And she had two private jets to get her here. I guess that's the big thing to track right now. So basically right now we're just going to get into a couple of questions and whatnot and break down the whole podcast as far as like stats and whatnot and some trivia and just go over some things. So, but tonight we have a very special guest, Pat the Designer, the charisma personified host of the Windy City Breeze, the Chicago Bears podcast, and the Hit Locked In podcast. How you doing tonight, Pat?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Having a good time. Ready for the Super Bowl to come on, dog. This is always the weird part where it's like, why am I watching basketball today? When I was watching it, it was a good game. Celtics, Miami, real good game. I don't know who's playing right now. They had a second game on. They had a second game on today, but it's been a fun day.
And then how much pregame coverage could you actually get? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why shout out the NBA for actually just taking advantage of, like, at a certain point, they're going to get sick of watching pregame coverage. I turn it on as background noise.
But you know what? You can feel electricity here at Worth Stadium Club. As WWE announcer Michael Cole would say, there's a big game, a big fight field for the showdown between the NFL's most storied franchises. The Niners are defending Super Bowl champions. And the Niners are chasing a return to glory and their record-tying 6th Lombardi Trophy, 6 in the mix. That's a lot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
we're getting into Michael Jordan numbers there when you get into 6.
Oh yeah, they're trying to put themselves back on top. Really excited about this game. I think this is going to be a fun game between 2 really good defenses, and I'm excited to see. I don't think that it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think that it is going to be a hard-hitting game, and I'd rather have hard-hitting than anything.
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, I mean, you don't really hear too many, names, household names or whatever, 3rd, 4th round draft picks that are receivers and whatnot, but Patty Mahomes, man, he's slinging that rock. He's getting it done this year, and he's looking for the first repeat since Tom Brady's New England Patriots in 2003, 2004.
Yeah, and I think he's got a good chance to do it. I'm not going to lie. I feel like, listen, there's one combination in football that nobody has figured out, and it is the Mahomes-Kelsey combination. I don't know why Travis Kelce is always open. He's 6'7", 235,
yeah.
2 foot, something like that.
Yeah.
And people lose him on the field all the time, but it's one of those combinations that you just don't see people be able to go out there and stop. So I've got a Chiefs Super Bowl win. I do think the back-to-back is finally able to happen here today. And I think that this is going to be one of those historic moments that start to not only put a notch on Pat Mahomes' career as far as where he's at right now, but as far as legacy-wise, where is he going to end up?
Yeah, you know what? And you got to give a shout out to Andy Reid, too, for getting it done. I mean, good Lord. I mean, between the Chiefs and the Eagles, I mean, how about it?
Yeah, very different 10 years with both. Made a Super Bowl on both sides. So we just talk about that. I almost forgot about that Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl where, it was just falling short. McNabb was out drinking before, they say. Yeah, maybe he was at Worth. Maybe he was at Worth Stadium Club. He was having a few drinks, and he did not play well the next day. But T.O. was elite. So, no, it's funny to see the flip of Andy Reid going from the coach that can't control the clock to now one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time.
Unbelievable, man. And I tell you what, I think I have to agree with you. We're definitely on tap for an epic Super Bowl. that will go down in history as the pro football's greatest championships. I mean, seriously, you've got to give credit where credit is due. The Niners are packed all the way from the back end to the front end. They've got a loaded team, but yet you still have to say, hey, man, Patrick's on the other side of the ball. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be
one guy, man.
It's you know what it is, too? It's just seeing greatness, right? Pat Mahomes has played down this year. And honestly, this Chiefs team's defense has been what's carried. The defense of the Chiefs has been the fourth storyline on the season. And it's one of those things where it's like, why? Right? It's been behind Pat Mahomes and the offense struggling, Travis Kelce getting old, Taylor Swift. And then you start talking about, hey, this defense is pretty good, though. No, this is one of the best defenses, if not arguably the best defense in the NFL. They've only allowed more than 25 points twice this season. I don't expect that to change in the Super Bowl here. You know what Chris Jones brings to the table.
Oh, my gosh.
As far as an absolute monster. On the front end. And listen, Brock Purdy's going to have to deal with that. Brock Purdy's going to have to face that pressure in his face. And he's going to have to, you hope the offensive line is able to hold up for him a little bit, but I haven't found the team that's able to stop Chris Jones yet. And even last week, right, versus the Ravens, where you kind of think, well, he doesn't end up with a sack. He doesn't end up, actually getting to Lamar Jackson. But the pressure that he forced up the middle caused so much trouble for what Baltimore was trying to do. And they just mentally fell apart by the end of the game. And that's the one thing about this, the mental aspect of it. Yes, some of the Niners have been in the Super Bowl before, but Pat Mahomes and this Kansas City Chiefs team have been here 3 times before. Experience makes a difference here, and I think experience is going to be what ends up playing out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think the experience is where, like you said, going back to putting that pressure on Brock, he doesn't have that experience. And when you get a guy coming in hot like Chris Jones, fast, elusive, big, monster, he's going to feel that heat. And that's where he's going to, let's see what he does. Is he going to break down? Is he going to make bad decisions? You know what I mean? Like I am after a couple of these.
That's all right.
Stadium Club,
That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as it's not on camera, you're good. Nobody saw anything.
No. What happens at Worst Stadium Club stays
you keep your
at
eyes
Worst
closed.
Stadium
You keep
Club.
it locked. Right, exactly.
She's got it on lock. She's one of the best. So check it out. Let's get into this really quick. I do want to pause for the cause and talk really quick. The wait is finally over for Steve Mongo McMichael and Mr. Devin Hester, the Windy City Flyer.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Those games were exemplified, and it's the true definition of NFL Hall of Famers. And they're finally in Canton, and they were elected Thursday as members of the Hall of Fame class of 2024. What in each one of those men, including Julius Peppers, what comes to mind when you think of those?
For me, with Mongo, it's Mongo's the easiest one. Pure dominance. My favorite, I want to say it was Wilbur Marshall. He was talking about one game he had to slide over for Singletary, and he said, "No wonder Singletary's a Hall of Famer. You can't help but not sack the quarterback. Mongo keeps opening up massive holes everywhere." And you just see a golden light shining down on top of you, end up landing on that. I have to say, it's my job basically to do it. And so when you see kind of the effect, I feel like that epitomized the effect that Mongo had so much, because he was just the epitome of pure dominance from a position where your job is not always to get to the quarterback. Your job is to dent the pocket, allow the edge rushers to get to the quarterback, force the other guys to look really good. A lot of times that's an unsung position, and yet Mongo was able to be one of the best at it at every point, getting to the quarterback, actually being an elite part of that run game and leading a league leader in tackles every year, right? Like, he's somebody to me that epitomizes Hall of Fame worthy player. And to me, the Hall of Fame's biggest sin was not getting him in there sooner, but I'm glad that he's in there now. Glad that he's able to still be with us and see himself be able to go into the Hall of Fame. With D. Hest, Devin Hester, I'm not one of those people that believe Devin Hester changed the game. But Devin Hester changed the game he was in.
Okay.
I had a commenter tell me that he was like, he didn't change sports, right? The lawsuit changed the game. right? When somebody comes through and like tells the truth, and then like all of a sudden, there's a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against you. Yeah, we're gonna change some rules.
Yep.
But I think teams breathed a sigh of relief knowing that they didn't have to kick it to Devin anymore. And I do believe that Devin Hester going into the Hall was a shoe-in to go into the Hall, because without him, you think about Bears in the Super Bowl, 85, 2006. There's no 2006 without Devin Hester on that team, because we had an offense that just couldn't move the ball consistently enough. Think back to that Arizona game. That changes the game. You think back to that Super Bowl. He gives us a 7-point lead. My God, if we just keep running the football in the second half, maybe we got 2 Super Bowls to go back and talk about. So, I think he's absolutely a Hall of Famer, and interviewing him on ESPN with J-Mac and stuff like that, Hall of Fame person, Hall of Fame teammate, loved everything he brought in. Pep is on, I don't know if he's the same as Mongo, right? Because no championships, things tied like that. But you knew you were having a long day playing against Julius Peppers. You knew you were going to have a bad day. It's like, all right, what am I supposed to do with him? Like, he basically played. People forget he was a power forward in college. On like what was it?
Final Four North
team?
Carolina.
I don't think they ended up winning, but I think Final Four they ended up going out.
Dude,
he was elite.
He logged minutes too.
Yes.
He dunked. He did all that.
Logged minutes. He averaged like 15 points a game.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, he was a monster. So yeah, Julius Peppers. Forget Hall of Fame football player, Hall of Fame athlete. Just a monster at both ends of the floor. So love seeing all 3 of them be able to get in. Like I said, talking with Devin, he was so appreciative of the opportunity to get in. And the one thing that stuck with me that he said was that because he got passed over twice, and one time they passed him over for a referee. It's crazy, insane work.
Wow.
But being able to get in this time, he said, when you get the knock, when you hear the horn, for him it was a horn at the door from Edgerrin James outside, that meant you were finally in. It feels like the first time. Yeah. And so he has no animosity towards it. He's let all the past stuff go. He's a Hall of Famer. And I love that. I love that for Devin. And I'm excited we'll be down in Canton. You'll be down there. I'll be down there in Canton. You going to Canton? Everybody's taking. That's the one thing that's going to be lit, dog. Have you ever been down there for the Hall of Fame?
I've never been down there.
Bro, when I tell you, when you go down there, you're going to think outside of the horrible city around, like it's Ohio, right? So it's standing beef. Outside of the city itself, the city of Canton, or I should say the state itself, the city of Canton is football heaven. And when Bears go in, it's even better.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like Chicago.
Bro, I saw a stat where it's like 39 of us are in now for the Bears.
39?
Yeah, 39.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, most Hall of Famers in the NFL by one team. So, yeah, man, a lot of good. It's fun to go down there when Bears are inducted, because there's going to be a lot of Bears parties down there.
Yeah, and really quick, shout out to Mike, who put all this together, the Caravan of Canton. He just got back from Vegas, and he talked to the Hall of Fame, and they all are on board. They're actually sponsoring him to put this all together.
Nice.
They're going to have a lot out there. It's all about for Mongo. Going to be a big old lot. We're going to have a couple hotels. There's already booked over 150 rooms. They're going to get another 150 rooms. So make sure, I've got it on YouTube. Make sure you scan the QR code and get on there and meet us all down for that nice big old trip down there. So that'll be really cool. Yeah, man, Pep. I was talking to Tommy Harris yesterday. It was really cool because that guy's a monster too.
Absolutely.
And when I met him, for him to say that, being around Pep and then seeing him for the first time, how big of a man he is,
He's huge, dog. He was 6'9", 255. Like, he shouldn't have been able to move like that.
Crazy.
Man, he was a monster, dog.
Yeah. It's in some respects you are a numbers guy, but really quick, here's some of the measurables for Pep really quick, who dug out the trenches for the Bears for 2010 to 2013. He ranks 4th in the league in history with 159.5 sacks. Unfreaking believable. Yeah. Also scored his ticket to Canton. I mean, like I said, rightfully so. And how could you not see him there? You know what I mean?
You knew he was going in first, man. He's just, my God. I just remember him. Like, it's funny because there's like 3 careers and you don't think about all of them, right? Like, he spent 5 years in Chicago?
Yeah.
He spent 5 years, I believe. No, he spent 4 years in Chicago, 5 years in Carolina, and then he has like another like 4 years in Green Bay. 4 years in Green Bay, and it was like, oh yeah, we did like basically just give him away. And then he was like, we had to face him twice a year. Like, I forgot about that. So yeah, Pep is a monster.
Shout out to Carolina though for giving us all the hookups on the players. I mean,
Carolina's good. Yeah, we got Carolina is
Kobe
good
White.
for one thing, giving us a lot of players.
Yeah.
You know, Jordan,
DJ,
Kobe White. I like what Kobe White's doing
Kobe,
now.
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. Yeah, well, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Shout out.
Pep. Yeah, I mean, appreciate that.
All the draft picks too. They
a lot of picks coming up. Yeah, appreciate that.
So, you know, Pat, should we call 2024 the year of the Bears Hall of Famers?
You got to.
3 of them, man.
You got to.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you got to. Thank you. Thank you. Phenomenal service here with Stadium Club. Pull up, tip your bartenders. But no, yeah. I think you have to. This is a dominant year for Chicago Bears heading into the Hall of Fame. And the part that's really cool about it is, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of them have seen the ultimate success like we're talking about today. Not all of them winning it, but all going to a Super Bowl. Pep, of course, went down in Carolina. Mongo wins it, 85. Devin Hester in 06. So really cool to see all of them. They embody Hall of Fame players.
Yeah. They really do, and that's actually something exactly what Tommy said. They embody that, and you know, when you think of them, that's the first thing you think of because they exemplify and personify greatness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the highest level.
Yeah.
The highest levels.
Hest is like I said, he's a great. I've only talked to him a couple of times through J-Mac, and every time I talk to him, it's not like, oh, I'm on here with the podcaster. I'm on here with the talk show guy from ESPN. It's like, oh, that's J-Mac boy. All right, that's my boy. And him and J-Mac are best friends. So coming around and being around and hearing the stories, I love getting them going. Yeah, I mean, when you just like, all right, what's the story that y'all got? What's the new story that we're gonna hear about? I want to hear this. So we didn't have a ton of time with him because he's doing all the Hall of Fame stuff. He said it takes 4 hours to make the mold for the bust.
Wow.
And he is going in. We did get this breaking news over on.
Breaking news!
We did get this over on the podcast. I mean, it's been out a couple days. Check out the podcast, Chicago Bears podcast. He's going in with the dreads.
Oh,
he's going in with the dreads. You got to go in with the dreads. Windy City Flyer. He's going in with the dreads. So
okay.
I don't know how they're going to have that on. You just look at a picture of him back in the day, but it's cool.
Hopefully they'll be pumping Soldier Boy, dude.
You got to. When he walks out, my question is who's putting him in?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the one question, and I wasn't going to ask him that on there because, you know, they keep that kind of close to the vest.
Yeah.
I didn't want to waste the question. Must always be like, you got a hat? Nah, he's not going to tell me. But I would assume Lovey, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good
Lovey's the guy that rocked with him. I don't know who else you would say as who's going to induct Devin in. We obviously know with Mongo, it's going to be the family and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about Pep either.
What about Jay? What about Jay, bro? I forgot about Jay.
Jay Cutler for Devin? You think so?
Favorite quarterback?
You think so?
Let's go.
Yeah, I highly doubt we see Jay Cutler. I'd be surprised if we even see Jay down there. I love Jay, but I'd be surprised if we see Jay down there.
With a cigarette. So, hey, off record, who do you think is going to be the next Bears Hall of Famer?
Well, I mean, it's all on record. We had a camera and mics in front of us. Who's going to be the next Bears Hall of Famer? Gotta say Peanut, right?
Yeah,
I love Briggs. I think Briggs and Peanut going in together would be really cool. Talking with Briggs every week.
Yeah.
He deserves to be in. I'm fine. Like, he's got a Hall of Fame worthy career, everything that defense was able to do. But if somebody punches the football out in this game today, what are they going to say?
Right.
Peanut punch.
Peanut punch.
Yeah. You're going to hear peanut punch whenever when you have a move named after you in Canton, or when you have a move named after you in the league and you haven't played with Peanut. It's been 10 years now since Peanut, 15 years. When Peanut go out 13, so 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go in. So and when you the tough part with Hall of Fame is when you start looking at numbers and different things like that. It's different eras. So by the numbers that are in the hall right now, Peanut has the numbers. I think when you think of elite DBs, he may not be the first one that comes to mind, but I think he definitely deserves to be in. So I say Peanut Tillman's probably our next. Bears Hall of Famer.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I'd have to agree with you there. I love what he does on and off the field.
Yeah.
Especially, you know,
good podcast too.
Vets and
good
everything.
podcast now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, friends, a record of over $23 billion will be put on the table tonight for Super Bowl 28. Isn't that crazy? But none has your inside track to super fun on the Super Bowl. What's a better, surer bet than Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift going the distance? You have the most fun in fantasy sports with Underdog Fantasy, the official fantasy sports partner of Chicago Sports Podcast. Enter your Super Bowl bid by using the special CSP promo code today and sign in at www.underdogfantasy.com. Underdog Fantasy, Pick'em, and season-long fantasy for NFL, NBA, and more. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports, including best ball, daily drafts, and Pick'em starts, drafting in minutes for a shot at big cash prizes. Available on iOS, Android, and the web for UnderdogFantasy.com. Chicago sports podcasters users will receive 100% match of up to $100 when they use a CSP signing code. Get 5 picks right, and you will multiply money 20 times. It's simple, it's fast, it's mega fun. It's Underdog Fantasy, the official gaming partner of Chicago Sports Podcast. So, Pat, on paper, these teams are tighter than a tightrope. The Niners are a slim 1.5 favor margin.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, San Francisco has a 59% advantage in a head-to-head position matchup. For your money, who will be the X factor who decides Super Bowl 58?
I think it's going to be on the defensive side. I think it's going to be Chris Jones. I think the pressure that he's going to be able to provide up the middle is going to be tremendous. You know what and the thing is, he makes everybody else's life easier. There's going to be such a focus on stopping Chris Jones from getting to the quarterback. Again, an under-talked about guy because he's in the middle, a guy that to me could have won Defensive Player of the Year with how this defense played. Like, I would not be surprised if we see him have a sack and a half type of day. This is going to be a defensive game, man. This is going to be a game where I don't expect a high score at the end of it. I think these are two defenses, both of them allowed, I want to say 17 and some change points per game. They're both really good at getting to the quarterback. I think that this San Francisco defense is going to want to prove that they're not what they've looked like in the first half of games on the way here. And in the second half, they've been a lot more.
Hold up. Didn't you say, or I heard they're both like top 5 defenses in the league? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Both top 5 defenses, both top 5 offensive lines defensive lines in the NFL. Question is going to be, can the offensive lines match up there? I think that, when you look at that San Francisco offensive line, you probably feel a lot better about it. But, when you look behind the line, Pat Mahomes or Brock Purdy. And I'll tell you this, if the Niners find a way to win, don't be surprised if we see another Tom Brady in the making be born.
Oh, boy.
Because
why?
Listen, well, I mean, we got Pat Mahomes already. But because it allows you the time to be able to go out there and get better, right? Pat Mahomes went into a system where the system was built for Alex Smith. He had time to develop in that, got to sit a year, learn behind Alex Smith, ends up going out there playing the next year. He's an amazing quarterback already. He's got all the physical talents. But the team was already built up. I look at Purdy on the other side. I'm like, he may not have everything.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. When I got Christian McCaffrey, I got Deebo Samuel, I got George Kittle. I had who do you want to throw the football to? It's not about who are you getting the ball to. It's,
right.
Oh, I got so many options. I just go with that guy. He's open. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know what? And shout out to Alex too, man. I mean, could you imagine taking over the reins of a guy like that and taking it a step further and being who you are right now? I mean, it's ridiculous. Alex was a really good quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that. And that right now, most of the time, his name isn't even mentioned because that's how great Patrick is. You know what I mean?
You went from a game manager to a game changer. And I think that you're starting to see Brock Purdy become a game changer. The second half of that Lions game was not a game manager.
Yeah.
Second half of that Lions game was a game changer. When he took off and ran, they had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
They were like, wait a minute, the white guy's running? What the heck is going on here? Yeah. Like, where did he figure that out? Like, they had no idea what was going on. That broke the Lions. The second he said, what did he get, like a 25-yard run or something? Like, he's fast? We did not see that coming. So I think he might have to use those legs today. Hopefully he's ready. Hopefully he's loose. He's not cramping up. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. And somebody said, as every pregame show goes, right? Like, this is I got to go out there. You don't want to get too excited pregame because then you get tired. You're going to be, you got all this to work through. And then, so the pregame shows are hilarious today because it's all the like do's and don'ts from guys that didn't make the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What do you want to see today? Ryan Tannehill, like, wait a minute, hold on now. Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't care what Ryan Fitzpatrick thinks about the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I could care less. Like, show me somebody that went to a Super Bowl. Where are those guys at? They're at the Super Bowl. Okay. Right.
Yeah, and you know what? To your point, that is very accurate. But soon we will be seeing the GOAT behind the mic. And from what I hear, what I gather, this guy's going to be pretty good, man. He's going to be.
I still don't know if I believe it.
Really?
Brady was supposed to be behind the mic this year.
Oh, really?
How many games did you see him?
No.
He was supposed to only show up at special occasions, certain games, Monday Night Football, or it was just supposed to be very specific moments, high profile games. I didn't see him one time,
bro. I mean, shout out to you. You know, I love you, but honest to God, podcast with you at Worst Stadium Club or Giselle. I mean. What am I going to do? You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's not with Giselle anymore.
I heard that they might be getting back together.
Oh, God. All right. Shout out to him. What are you going to do? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not up on the social life of Tom Brady right now.
Yeah.
Where's he hanging out at?
What were they? Something the other day about Kardashian or something, and that was.
Oh, Kanye dropped an album. There's always that.
Yeah. Getting back to all of the targets. Since I just put one on my back right now.
Watch yourself.
Watch yourself. No, all of the targets that the Niners had that you brought up, there's one that we haven't talked about. And this is a game changer, Debo. They say when Debo is on the field, their yards change exponentially. Like they get down the field, they got bigger splash plays, and he doesn't even have to have the ball in his hand. I don't know why that is, but they just, for whatever reason, do a lot better when the man's on the field.
Debo's not as high profile as Kittle, right? Because not dating Taylor Swift. But when you look at Debo, the effect is very Kelsey-like, where you sit there and you go, okay, who are the guys we got to watch out for? Make sure he doesn't put the ball in his hands and get away from it.
Right.
There's not really a formula to stop him. There's not really a way where you're like, okay, we can't throw the football to him. All right, put him in the backfield. We're going to hand the football off to him. He's a great running back as well. All right, they ran him twice. Now let's play up on him. Up, now he's behind us, wide open down the field because he's a great wide receiver as well. He's just Debo's an amazing athlete. I think he is probably the X factor on the 49ers side.
That's what
because without Debo Samuel, and yes, Christian McCaffrey was not there for those games, but when you see Debo off the field or you see them not targeting Debo as much, the Niners offense looks very different. That second half, Debo got targets.
Yes.
That second half, and it opens things up. And listen, there is a little bit of football gods that have to shine down on you. Former Chicago Bear Kendall Vildor letting the ball bounce off his face into the hand of Brandon Ayuk makes a difference, right? You end up scoring a touchdown play after that. Like, that makes a big difference when you have things like that work in your favor. But you need to get the for sure things right for the magic moments to happen. Debo Samuel's a for sure thing that more times than not is right.
I mean, he's freakishly fast. He's big. I mean, he's big and he's tall. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Like it's hard to game plan against somebody like that where you can do. Honestly, you know who I think you'd be really good with? Luke Getsy, man. Could you imagine the screens?
Oh God. You gonna throw Luke Getsy in my face, huh?
I'm sorry.
They just sent him over to Oakland.
They're
gonna be terrible this year. I hope people know that, right? Like everybody, and when they signed Luke Getsy, they were like, "See, people still think he's good." I was like, "No, he's got friends."
And today they just signed an offensive assistant offensive line coach from the Bears went there too. So.
Yeah, I mean they're going to sign a bunch of people because he's got people in the building. I think people like him.
Yeah.
They think he's not very good at his job.
Oh no.
Yeah,
When you go to a place at a work, you know, and you go there and you're there for 1 year and then you move and then you go somewhere else 1 year and move. You've been to like 10, 15 different buildings. There's something to that, ladies and gentlemen. So nobody has a defense answer for Patrick Mahomes, right? But I mean, you know, you can look at linebackers like Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, and defenses that prevent the top 10 football player from taking over the game tonight and making the kind of Houdini-like magic on broken plays that has won the Chiefs 2 Super Bowls already. I mean, what could you say about that as far as, like, do you think that could potentially happen? Is that what it would take? Like, the whole defense has to be locked in against Patrick?
To beat Pat Mahomes, you have to force a turnover, which in theory is not hard to do this season because Matt Nagy calling plays, right? Another former Bears offensive coordinator. I do think Andy Reid is taking over more play calling this year, but or towards the end of the year, I should say. But yeah, if you can get a turnover, you then have to capitalize on it. You cannot have a turnover where you do not come out of it with 7 points, or you will lose this game. But forcing the turnover, I don't think will be as difficult because offensive line has not been as good. This is another Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes going to it, which speaks to the story of his greatness, right? With an offensive line that you kind of just go, I mean, they're playing. You know what I mean? Like there's football happening today. So I think that realistically, the big thing for the Niners today is just to go out there and if the defense can give you something, when the defense does give you something, you have to capitalize on it offensively.
Yeah. And the thing about it too, though, is Pat, the Chiefs receivers, they've had butterfinger tendencies.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's been a well-documented a lot of oopsies, and Mahomes has had to figure out ways to win one-dimensionally. You look at his stats all season long, it's not the 4, 5, 6 touchdowns a game that we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
Yet today he's still in the Super Bowl, came in backdoor. Who on the Niners, and the first goes to secondary, do you think needs to step up? It has to be, you have to put a body on Kelsey all day long in order to.
I mean, of course, right? But like, I think the guy that's going to end up spending a lot of time following him around is going to be Greenlaw. But the problem with that is who's figured out how to stay with him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this is the year, maybe this is the time, maybe Travis has slowed down enough. Yeah. Maybe the legs aren't as spry anymore. Yeah. He should be strong. Taylor didn't make it in last night, so I would assume he's got plenty of energy today. Yeah. But yeah, I don't. That's like back in the day when and not to the same ilk, of course, but when they had the Jordan stuff. Oh, this guy's gonna slow down Michael. He's gonna until you piss him off. Yeah, I mean, like Travis Kelce's one of those players where you go, this is how you stop him. This is what you should do. You can't give him space, blah, blah, blah. And I asked Lance about this. It's like, how would you play Travis Kelce if you were still playing defense today? And he's like, you can't give him space. You have to stay on him. You have to force him to play a hard physical style of football. Problem is Travis can do that.
Yeah.
If you play off of him, you're killed.
Dude.
But if you play too physical, he can get behind you. Like, There's going to the biggest thing that's going to have to happen today is that San Francisco defense is going to have to be absolutely disciplined. You cannot miss your spots. You have to play perfect football today to go out there and beat the combination of this team. And I really need to see that defensive line. Listen, the main thing is if Pat Mahomes don't let the ball go, Pat Mahomes can't get the ball to Travis Kelce.
Oh.
Get to Pat Mahomes.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. Get in that backfield. We've seen a Super Bowl with him where I think he ran 450-odd yards the wrong direction.
Oh, my God.
Right? And they end up losing that one. Follow that model. They can run the other way. They go into it, no tackles. Who was that? Was that verse Brady on that one? I think that was a Brady Super Bowl. Well, you made them run the other way a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some amazing plays, but Tyreek Hill drops a big pass. They got a lot of drops here this year. Yeah, I mean, like, That's the formula for success versus a pretty amazing team.
Yeah, you definitely don't just want it. But you know what? There's something to it because it's like, how do you put pressure on a guy that you don't want to extend the play, roll out of the pocket, and take off too? You know what I mean? You got to be very,
you got to pick your poison. It's Aaron Rodgers-esque where I can blitz you and you know how to handle the blitz, but if I don't blitz you, you will absolutely eviscerate us. So it's pick your poison, right? Yeah. So if I'm walking in this building today, I'm telling my linebackers, I'm telling my DBs, you have to be on your spots. You have to play perfect football because we have to get pressure on Mahomes this year. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill over there. Yeah. He doesn't have, you have to find a way to get pressure on him and make his life a little bit hard. Rashee Rice has had a little bit of an emergence, but he ain't been in the Super Bowl before.
No.
So this is going to be new territory for him. Yeah. Force the pressure to be on that.
I like that. You got to put the pressure on there. You got to drop it. And you know what? Here's the deal with the Niners, man. They're an old school type running team. They're going to pound it. I think CMC has like 6 touchdowns, and he's been averaging 112 yards a game.
Yeah, he's a monster
through like five games. You know what
he's
I mean?
A monster. You got
to count for that. What do you see him doing tonight? What do you think Kyle's trying to get out of him?
I think for them to be successful, and probably what we'll end up seeing again, I think this is going to be a very defensive game. But for him to go out there and be successful, you're going to need to see just him making the little things work. So when we're in short yardage situations, CMC gets you the first down or he gets you over the goal line. I don't think you may have one big play. I really believe this is going to be a tough Super Bowl. You may have one big play where fourth quarter, everybody's kind of tired. You're running on fumes. You're giving it all you got. Something opens up. CMC gets a big run that puts you in a position for something. But the last time a premier running back was the deciding factor in a Super Bowl, you have to go all the way back to Marshall Faulk?
No, it was Bettis, right? Didn't Bettis do good with Pittsburgh?
I'm trying to remember what Jerome Bettis did in that Super Bowl. Yeah, I guess that would have been Super Bowl in Detroit. Yeah.
Back at home.
I guess I don't remember if Bettis had a great game that game though. I looked that up, but even so, right? Like, Bettis is what 2006.
Yeah.
2005? No, Bears was 2006. So 2005 or 4, something like that, right? Like, you're going back a long way,
almost 2 decades,
to try and say
17, 18 years.
The premier running back was the focal point of what this team did. I don't think that's going to happen today.
No, but to your point, though, that this is definitely a much different type running back. And here's another thing, too. You're not really going to just focus on that one running back, are you? Because, like, they could even beat you with, like, their 4-string running back. Freaking Niners got so many running backs, bro. It's ridiculous.
They got some dogs out there. He did have a good Super Bowl. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shout out Bettis.
When I was watching the pregame, they were showing how he gets up in the morning and all this and that. He could barely move. He was going like this, like just walking.
Man, that's such a different era of football. Where there's a part of me that misses it. Yeah. I'm a big proponent of make football violent again.
Yeah.
But like you do have to do it safely because it just sucks to see some of these guys, how they're aging, how they're feeling, things like that. That comes with the territory of the game, but it shouldn't be like, hey, bud, like, crack the rust off before we oil you up before you start your day.
It was just crazy. It was just crazy because, like, you would think when you were watching that film before getting his whole thing walking down the stairs of his house and how he's just walking like a penguin all slow and stuff, like there's no way he's gonna do what he does, and next thing you know, he's running faster than the word of God and plowing through people. It's just crazy,
He's a monster, dog.
Do you think Brock Purdy fully shed his Mr. Irrelevant label? You think that's over, or do you think that's still out there? And is that fair?
I don't think that it's over. I think that thank you. Just providing us with phenomenal food here.
Unbelievable.
Shout out Worth Stadium Club. I don't think that Mr. Irrelevant is over just yet. I think that this game will go a long way in deciding that. And it doesn't have to be him winning it. I saw Shannon Sharp talking about that, where he's got to basically win the Super Bowl to shed the Mr. Irrelevant label and all. I don't believe that that's the case. What I do think is that you have to play well today. You have to be the leader your team needs.
Yeah.
Right? Jimmy G got the Niners to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
He was not the leader his team needed.
Right.
Just wasn't. Pat Mahomes was the leader his team needed, ended up winning that Super Bowl. I think that if Jimmy G can prove today that he's the leader that this team needs, then I'd go into next season saying he's no longer Mr. Irrelevant. Yes, the system is going to be quarterback friendly. Quarterback friendly is good.
Yeah.
You don't want quarterback unfriendly systems. I don't know if people know that or not.
No, you definitely want people to take care of you, especially your most important, player on the offense.
Yeah. We could call him a system quarterback, but I don't care. At that point, right, you think about Tom Brady's first Super Bowl. It was stay out of the way.
Yeah.
Let the defense do what it's going to do. Don't screw this up, kids. Stay out of the way.
Yeah.
And it's not that he was a bad player. It's just that this is a new moment for you. This is a surprising moment for you. We're in the Super Bowl right now. How are you going to go out there and perform? I think his first Super Bowl, I think we looked it up, 9 for 15, 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
Something like that. You made enough plays. And then on the flip side of that, Warner throws a pick 6. The defense makes the plays. If I'm Brock Purdy going into this, I'm saying today we have to win as a team.
Yeah.
Not to say I can't be the guy that you need me to be in the fourth quarter, but the first 3.5, we have to win as a team.
Yeah.
And if I get into that fourth quarter and I got that moment, I'm going to be ready for it.
But bro, honestly, the way I look at this is this wasn't even supposed to be his team. Look at all those draft picks that they traded to move up to get a guy that's not even on their roster anymore.
That's what I love. Lance. I don't know if you saw the story, but the GM Kyle Shanahan came to the GM and basically was like, "Hey, we've got a problem here, boys." He's like, "What's that?" He's like, "We got Jimmy G on the roster. We just went up and got Lance, and the guy we took at the last pick in the draft is the best quarterback on the field."
Ooh.
He's like, as a GM, you never want to hear that. It's a good problem to have, but you don't want to hear it after you just traded all of this draft capital for this guy. So he's been doubted at every turn. He's been somebody people haven't looked at, but he can run the system. And the fact that he can come in, he knows how to run the system. Maybe it's because his gifts are a little bit more limited now. That allows you to develop. That allows you to grow. That's why I think he can be a long-term piece of it.
And honestly, shout out to that too, because it could be a thing year in and year out where teams are still looking for that dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They might have found that dog in that little bit of time, and how many
and he's a puppy right now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Learning from a really good, trainer, Jeez, oh Pete. Speaking of training, how about El Bandito Yankee? Oh my goodness. Nothing goes with the biggest game of the year, that smooth and delicious experience from NHL Hall of Famers Chris Chelios, revolutionary El Bandito Yankee. This authentic to the smooth core, additive-free, 100% blue agave ultra premium tequila has changed the game with its extraordinary, wowing, and thirst-quenching taste. El Bandito Yankee delivers a winning tequila experience every time. Oh man, I'm getting thirsty just thinking about it. So yeah, so let's get into these picks right now. It's time to go on record and predict the Super Bowl future. Who do you think will win Super Bowl 58 and why?
I don't bet against greatness. I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs will win Super Bowl 58, and the why is Mahomes and Kelsey. As we talked about all today, the why is Mahomes and Kelsey.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you more. But I am going to go the other way. I definitely do think the Niners will win, but it's very hard to bet against.
Close Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yes. What's your Super Bowl final score?
I think early in the week I said 17-14 Chiefs.
Wow.
I think I'll stick with that. I think it'll be 17-14 Chiefs. I think the Niners will be leading into the fourth quarter. Mahomes will lead a drive that puts them up. And 14-10, Mahomes leads a drive that puts them up, 17-14, and they win the game.
Wow. I like the color, man. That's great. I don't really have all that. I don't know how it's going to go down. Okay. But I do know that it's going to be by a touchdown. And I'm going to go 35-28 Niners. So, yeah. Who's your Super Bowl MVP?
Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes. You know what? Not Pat Mahomes. I was going to say Travis Kelce, but they are always going to give it to the guy that's throwing to the guy that has to make the play. So I'm going to say Pat Mahomes.
Okay, I got you. Who will be Usher's?
Taylor Swift.
He didn't even hear the question.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Who will be Usher's mystery halftime guest? I mean, Taylor Swift would fit. You want to do it? My guess is Justin Bieber.
Is it mystery? I would probably say that's a good question.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking Ludacris. Shout out to. I was like, is it gonna be Ludacris? Right, maybe Ludacris. I think we could get a Ludacris reference in there. Yeah, okay. I think that's mystery guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because he's not gonna want to play. A lot of Usher stuff is like R&B. Like that's not vibing for the halftime show. You want to come out a little bit more hardcore. Outkast. Andre 3000 on his flute. Lil Jon. There we go.
Lil Jon. Not enough pros, right? No, that was Luda.
Good job.
Over under 50. How many Taylor Swift shots will CBS give us tonight?
Under. I'd say under 50.
Under 50. Not by much, though,
but
right?
not by much. 48. 48. Yeah.
Hey, friends, thanks for coming out tonight. We're Stadium Club. We really appreciate you guys. And we're going to have some trivia challenge here in a little bit. So, we just got a couple questions, and then we're going to get into it. But we're going to go ahead and let YouTube Nation leave real quick. So thanks for tuning in with us, and enjoy your show and drink responsibly.
Stay safe out there, Chicago.
Yes.
Good stuff, my boy.
Yeah, man. Good job. My co-host.
Okay.
Yeah. He's on Wednesday.
I'm Jim Bushy.
Pat, nice.